Hey, 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 hey. What is up? What is up? YouTube gaming family. It is IK right here. Back at it with another YouTube video for y'all today. And yeah, I got a pretty good video for y'all today. As I'm going to be talking about a particular situation with Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection for my channel. I have some pretty deep thoughts on what just happened with some recent news on the game. And unfortunately, this game has some really bad news. And I'm going to give you my honest take on it. So before I do that, be sure to hit the like button. And also, be sure to subscribe to the channel. But also, huge big shout out to YouTuber NTC Gaming. He does a lot of Mortal Kombat Mugen content. And you know what? I'm definitely gonna be making a video to talk about Mugen because I think Mugen really needs to come to next gen consoles. And imagine what you can do by just playing online competitively, in a 2D sense, but you could have like multiple mods of like just people having fun and just enjoying what they want to, enjoy. So I think like Mugen definitely deserves to have a video of its own. And if I am able to stay awake for this video, because I usually take my sleeping meds by like 11:20 p.m. So I usually go to bed within like 30 minutes or so. But if I can't get my Mugen video done, then I'll probably save that for like another day. But yeah, definitely go subscribe to NTC Gaming. He's a really good YouTuber. I love watching his Mortal Kombat Mugen content, and it's always fun. It's very competitive, and he just has a lot of funny videos like you see here with Sub Zero, doing all these crazy combos. So yeah, so yeah, let's get right into it. Oh. So yeah, I'm already getting tired. So here's my take on what just happened. There has been some recent news that had came out from several other YouTubers. One YouTuber that I really like watching is YouTuber Scotty Combat. Definitely go check him out. Very good YouTuber. I like watching his content a lot. Scotty made a really good video talking about that Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection could very well be delayed, and the reason being is because NRS is having to develop more into the game with all the features that they want to give us with WaveNet and crossplay and all this other wild stuff, which I don't know like why it would take forever to make a game that's going to be a legacy collection, because to me like ideally like it would make me think that it's just a copy and paste of previous code that you had for previous Mortal Kombat games. But I can understand that if NRS is trying to make the content good enough where it's just going to upscale at the graphics more, because this is on PS5 and other next gen consoles that will soon to take it over. I mean, I don't mind it. It's just like at least like you should have just mentioned that from the very beginning. So the possible projected time frame of like when this game could be released, it's definitely looking to be like early 2026. So, we probably might be waiting for this game to be, well, I don't even know, man. I'm not going to make predictions, but um time frames are not always accurate with when a release date will come. But if we have to wait up until at the beginning of the beginning of next year just to kind of like go out of like our way to like understand like what's needed to be done for like this game to be properly developed, then I don't mind it. It's just like I think personally, the reason why NRS is even having to do this is probably because well, two things could be on the horizon. Either one, they probably don't care to like make enough production onto the game effectively, or two, they probably have like limited resources, so they're kind of like relying off of some outsource, assistance to kind of get the, legacy collection complete. And for those of you that don't know, they did hire developers from Street Fighter to like make MK Legacy Collection. So I want to very well say that what they ended up doing is that they ended up just taking those developers and just told them, hey, like all we need you to do is just make our typical arcade version of like of Mortal Kombat. Kind of like what you saw with the PS3 version, because for those of you that don't know, um, there was already a Mortal Kombat collection where you could play Mortal Kombat 1 through 3, and I forgot what that collection was. I believe it was called like Mortal Kombat like Classic Collection. If you guys like take a look at it on the PS3, like you guys would understand what I'm talking about. Like that was classic Mortal Kombat. And with this Mortal Kombat, this is supposed to give us like more content for like all the MK games, whether it's MK Vanilla with like like with MK3 and then UMK3, um MK2, MK1, MK, MK4 Gold and MK4. I mean, I don't like honestly, I really hope that they don't make duplicate games. Just give us all the games, but kind of just keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? Like don't try to plunder way too many MK games where people are not going to be happy to play. So I would just make it simple, like give us MK3, give us UMK3, but then once it comes to like MK4, just give us MK4 Gold. At least that way, like that the game has like more characters. Like probably upscale let the graphics more because I mean, honestly, like if you're going to be posting a old school MK Legacy Collection game, like I think like the best that could be improved with MK Legacy Collection is just having upscale graphics. And I get it, like the PS4, like I mean like the PS5 along with the Xbox Series X will be producing 60 frames per second. So therefore, depending on how the graphics cards are being operated between either console, they are going to be performing at a high speed rate. But that's not what the meaning of that case. The issue is that if we're just getting like just a standard copy and paste of the game and we're not being given like some evolution of the game to make the game stand out more and remaster it, because this is supposed to be a remaster, I would expect more from that. So I mean that's just my personal like opinion. But another thing that NRS could possibly be doing with this delay is that I don't know if I had ever told you guys about the MK movie, but something on my mind tells me that maybe the reason why they're delaying this game is because they're trying to split the costs of having to focus on the MK2 movie. So, personally with me, that could very well be the case because if you have a lot of money on the table and you're NRS and Warner Brothers is kind of like splitting, a limited budget for what could be spent for the game, then idealistically speaking, in your mind as Ed Boon, which route would you go in terms of making more money? Would it be making another MK game, that being Legacy Collection, which would be the limited least amount of money that's needed to make the game, where you will make good sales, but the sales are not always going to quantify the amount of people that are going to buy that game. Versus, would you make MK2 the actual movies that will be coming out? But the problem with this is that, are you going to put a lot of investment into this movie to make it more amusing to the fans, where people are actually going to see this movie and want to, enjoy it? And how much money is going to quantify the amount of supply that's being needed for the amount of consumers that are going to meet that high demand? Because, Ed Boon, I don't know if he's trying so hard to appease to people in the past, or he's just trying to get the younger generation to kind of support MK more by trying to appease to having a movie. But I think like Ed Boon is kind of stuck in the 1980s and 1990s. Shout out to huge shout out to Tom Brady, MK Tom Brady, not the football player, but yeah, yeah, like real MK Tom Brady made a good point. There's no reason why Ed Boon should even be utilizing the same old tricks that he used in the past, because for those of you that don't know, even though that, I'm technically old, well, I would say that I'm unk status old. I'm a young old guy, but I'm getting into the old man status, of having my own family, blah blah blah. So, like, I'm 30 years old and I was born in 1995. So, like, for those of y'all that do know me, I'm not old yet, but I'm getting up there. I'm getting to the uncle family status. So, here's the thing. Back when I grew up, like during the inception of Mortal Kombat that came in to the 1990s, which started in 1992. So, when when I was growing up after I was born, um the one thing that stood out to me about Mortal Kombat was the Mortal Kombat Annihilation movie. Before I even picked up a game of Mortal Kombat, that being MK1, the one thing that game had stood out was just having the characters, where they actually talked about their, their story, their bloodline, about who they are. And that's what made me think, like, okay, I really like these characters, because Liu Kang had a story of, he came from an adopted family, and he never he never got to meet his parents, but Raiden became that father figure for him, where Raiden taught him literally almost everything on how to become a good, combatant, which technically Boraicho taught him, along with Kung Lao, which not a lot of people tell you that, but, that's like another story for another day, of what people don't tell you about Mortal Kombat, that Boraicho actually taught Liu Kang and Kung Lao, because predating to Mortal Kombat, well, I could say Deadly Alliance, but if we really want to go back to the comic book lore, Boraicho was coming up with Raiden, and Raiden had told Boraicho that, hey, I need you to train these combatants while I go fight off Shinnok and his army, along with Shao Kahn, that being Kung Lao and Liu Kang. And Boraicho, he agreed to basically train them as his, little mentors. And it's kind of similar to what Scorpion did with Takeda, or Hanzo teaching Takeda, where he became that father figure to Takeda, and Takeda never got to meet Kenshi until Kenshi had seen Takeda, when he became a fully grown, young adult. So I will say, like, when you look at identity with Mortal Kombat, with the movies, that gives you a connection to a character that fits your personality. And to me personally, my favorite character is Scorpion, and I think Scorpion plays a massive role in terms of how much of a good character he really is. And I think, like, with me, like before I even touched MK1, as a video game, it was just like the fighting. It was like the engagement between characters. And I think that's what made Mortal Kombat such a good game because, the movies actually stood out to the fan base. So I think personally, if Ed Boon wants to kind of go back to that old school phase of like what he did with his success with the Mortal Kombat movies, which don't get it twisted, not every movie was a bestseller, but I will say the best movie that actually stood out to the fans, where a lot of people did pay their money's worth for popularity growth, had to be Mortal Kombat, Annihilation, because that movie was lore accurate, where it talked about Shao Kahn, it talked about all the historic origins of basically where every character came from. So I think like that's what Mortal Kombat 2 needs to do if Ed Boon's really trying to make another killing out of a good movie that's gonna sell well. Because like I will say like Mortal Kombat's not known to have good movies, but I will say like if there's that one good movie that will come out for Mortal Kombat, like MK2 can be that movie, but they need to fix on a lot of things. Like one, they got to fix on Jade. They got to make sure she has hair. I think like that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. I'm gonna be targeting Foxy Grandpa, on this because he says, well, it doesn't matter if Jade doesn't have hair. She's still Jade at the end of the day. No, like Jade having hair gives her an identity where she's a woman, but she's not really much of a woman if she doesn't possess really any hair-like style to be like the beautiful ninja that she is. But I mean, then again, she's a Denian, so it's like Edenians are to have some sort of function with their identity looks. But then on top of that, that's part of Jade's genetics. So it's like it wouldn't make any sense to not give Jade any hair, and it's like why would you not give her hair so she can actually like stand out, in the movie? Why would Katana have hair but Jade not having hair, like is somehow okay? So I think NRS understands that, the prediction of the movie is okay. I mean, I will very well say like maybe some of the things that they probably should do better with the cinematics is like make sure that when characters are fighting, they actually have like a good up close battle with the combat. And I think that the one prominent character that's gonna stand out without the whole, well, like I would say without the whole movie, will probably be Shao Kahn. I think Shao Kahn's gonna be really powerful, in this Mortal Kombat movie. So I'm not too sure. I think it's gonna be interesting. So, but yeah, I think the factoring cause of Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection being delayed, along with the MK2 movie being delayed as well, is simply due to like the fact of there's like a massive lack of funding and there's no proper functioning of planning out the release dates. So I think NRS is just kind of shooting themselves in the foot and they don't know what they really want to invest in. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see where things go, and I think NRS they definitely have a massive chip on their shoulders as far as like where things will go, and yeah, I don't know where the future will lie, but I think it's gonna be telling to see where NRS is going to take the next steps with MK Legacy Collection along with the MK2 movie. So I think they pretty much go hand in hand. If I'm Ed Boon, I would very well just focus on the MK Legacy Collection, and the movie. It can come later, man. I mean, I don't think there was any need to have a movie. But it's always good to have movies because it's like if you can't really win with MK video game titles, then you can at least win with some movies. So as long as all the movies are like good low budget costs, where they're actually good to like produce like good effects with what the acting battles are and everything else, then I think MK will do fine. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man. Let me know what y'all think, and I'm going to be signing off. And thank you guys for watching. So be sure to hit the like button, do what y'all gotta do, and yeah. So that's pretty much it. This is K Rat signing out, and I'll see you guys. Bye.